What's up, everybody? Smoove Cosplayer here, your favorite salsa dancing cosplayer. We are here at BlurredCon in DC. I have with me my honored guest, Miss Cutiepie Sensei.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. So I have to ask you, when did you fall in love with cosplay?
So I first was introduced to it back when I was in college. Actually, my husband, Vincent, he took me to my first con because he already knew that I liked super nerdy stuff and all that. Like, I play video games and read manga and all that. And he was like, "Have you ever been to a convention?" Like, no, what is that?
What is that?
Yeah. And we went, and I was like, oh my god, there's people walking around in costumes. This is the greatest thing. I loved wearing costumes for Halloween and stuff. So automatically I was like, so I can just do this? This is a thing that other people do? And that was all I needed. And then I immediately, was interested and tried to do research and all that.
Cool. So how's the journey been so far for you since that first moment? Stressful. Yes, y'all, cosplay can. Would you say cosplay and stress is synonymous, maybe?
Yes, because at least if you're the type of person that really is into detail and all that, and you're making all of your own builds and stuff, it gets hard because you want to make it for a particular convention, so you have a limited amount of time, and you mess up and you're like, oh no, everyone's gonna notice this, and now I gotta start over, and then you only got 2 weeks left, and then you're like, oh god, how, why? So it's been stressful, but I will say I've learned a lot, and I'm definitely way further along in terms of knowledge than I was 3-4 years ago. When I first seriously started trying to sew and build armor and all that. I way better than I was before. So it's been a really cool journey, a very educational one. It's been a fun one, just also stressful. Yeah.
So just so y'all know, cosplay is not for the faint at heart. And if you're too easily stressed out, you might not be about that life. Maybe not.
I mean, also you need money because all my money goes towards cosplay now.
Yeah, I've had to put aside all my other geeky hobbies. Being married now, I got a budget, which is a really good thing. But I can't put so much stuff towards some other things. So at some point, I'm gonna push pause. I ain't gonna never say stop. Push pause on cosplay, go back to collecting Transformers, push pause on that, go back to buying games, and then come back to cosplay. I've just been stuck on cosplay for way too long. Anyway, so one thing I like to get across to the viewers is that we cosplayers are regular people. We actually got jobs, we actually adult, we actually are responsible. So if you don't mind telling us, what do you do for your day job?
So I'm a concept artist at a video game company. I work on the game Paladins for Hi-Res Studios. Nice. So I draw stuff all day. So that's kind of the reason why, for instance, when I do my mashup cosplays every year, I always sketch them out from the bottom up, and I think my designs are always good in part because I get paid to come up with designs. It's literally my job. So
So it's interesting. So you said you're a concept designer, right? So when it comes to designing your own, doing that for your cosplays, do you ever get burnt out doing it?
Yes and no. It's fine when I'm designing stuff specifically for cosplays, but with costumes also, I'm making characters that aren't just mine. I'm making characters that also exist. So I'm not designing stuff all the time. I will say, having my job being concept art, it did burn me out a little bit from doing more illustrative work, just fun illustrations, because I used to draw more in my free time when I didn't work where I work now. But now it's I spend 8-9 hour days doing that. It's when I get home, cosplay is kind of my outlet to still be creative but not do exactly what I'm doing at work.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, because when you said that, it reminded me of how I basically work in IT, and this job, my last job, they were all call center type jobs. So slowly but surely, I started to realize I hate talking on the phone because I've been on the phone all daggone day. I'm don't call me. People ask me when I get off work 5:30, and then I get a call right at 5. I'm like, don't call me right at 5:30. But so you find a good way to balance it out so that way you're not burnt out when it comes to doing it for cosplay then.
Yeah, because that's why I only do mashups once a year. And even if I self-design something, the sketches that I do for my own stuff are, for me, other people might think they're that great, they're really quick for me.
Gotcha.
so it's not that big of a deal.
Okay. Now, from one master upper to another, I always love yours. I think the first time we met, it was a League of Legends mashed up with something. I forget. It was like big and blue.
Yeah, it was Overwatch, League of Legends. Okay. So I did Farah from Overwatch and Vi from League of Legends. Okay. So I had like the giant fists and everything.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like I'm not super familiar with either of them, but I knew like it was two different things. And I was like, so when it comes to matching things up, what's your motivation for that?
So it's kind of like it started out as just like a random thing, and then it turned into like an annual thing. I actually wasn't the one that came up with the initial idea to do mashups. That was also my husband. I give him credit for that too. I was like, yo, I need an idea for Dragon Con. I don't know what to do. So the first one he thought of was Sailor Moon, like Kill la Kill, like that mashup that I did.
Oh, I think I've seen that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one I ever designed, and I was like, okay, that's a great idea. So he'll like give me a prompt, and from there I'll be like, okay, let me take elements from this character and this character, like what makes them like noticeable and recognizable, because there's certain things in the character's like silhouette and color scheme that are important to keep, that you know that people will recognize, versus there's other features that might not be as important. So it's kind of fun for me. I get to take the challenge of like figuring out how to mash these two things up together in a way that like is noticeable and recognizable. So after I did it the first time, it was like, wow, that was a lot of fun. So let's try it again next year, and then like from there it's grown.
Just snowball from there.
Yeah.
I love the concept of making sure it's recognizable from both sides. Like when I started doing mashups, one fear that I had was, is anybody going to catch this? And then when people were like, oh, he did that, then I was like, oh, okay, they actually do get it. Like I would hate for it to be like, what did you do? Yeah, like I mean, I'm like, at some point it's gonna happen to me, but I'm like, that's the thing I would hate, would be for somebody to just walk by and be like, I don't even know what you did.
Yeah, like for me, consistently, it's always been a situation when I do the mashups where if somebody's not familiar with one of the properties, they still recognize the other one. Right. Like, so they at least get half of you. It's like you're that mixed with something. Like I know, like I can tell it's two things. So far I think I've done all right.
Yeah. You did more than all right. You got this. So we were chatting before, because I was asking you about like different things to talk about, and I asked you if you were a professional cosplayer, right? And your answer still kind of reiterated what my point was in general for even asking you that. Like, because you were like, what the heck is a professional cosplayer? What constitutes as a professional cosplayer? And really, my main point for even going there is that I feel like there's so many people out there who think that there are more professional cosplayers out there than there are, and like that, it's real small. Like,
there's not that many people who can like make money full time in costumes, and even then, the ones that do, they're not just making money from wearing costumes. They're making money from like selling patterns and doing tutorials and commissioning. Like they're doing commissions and making costumes for other people. Like it's not just them modeling their own costumes. Like I don't think outside of you being Jessica Negri, I don't think that there's that many people that can do that. Because even Yaya Han, I'm sure most of her money comes from Joanne's fabrics. Like her money's not just from wearing costumes. So there's not a lot of people who do that.
Yeah, because like we ain't out here just being like, hey, I'm a cosplayer, so pay me.
It doesn't work that way.
Like I've had only 2 friends, but it was enough for me to be like, what? 2 friends have actually asked me if that was my full-time gig now, just because they see so many pictures. I'm like, nah, bro, I would be on the street if this was my
it's like this don't pay me my salary. Does this have benefits? I don't understand. But cosplay does not give me health insurance.
Yes, good, very good.
I have a real job for that. So no. It's like a hobby that's turned into like a side hustle. I'll say it's that, because I've gotten paid for certain things. Like now that I've become like more recognized, like I got like the Marvel thing. I had like an ad with Google, like that kind of thing.
What was it? Becoming Marvel, was that it? Now, what did you do for that?
So me and 2 other girls, Cher Rose Cosplay and Pitchfork Cosplay, we each made our own Captain Marvel suit.
Okay.
That was hard.
I bet.
That was the hardest thing I've ever made.
No, that reminds me. I've seen like on your page and other people's pages, like, and it tends to always be women's pages, and they'll say, like, say if you cosplaying Captain Marvel, somebody else cosplay Psylocke, somebody else cosplay any other major female character, and there's always this compliment, and I always feel like, I wonder if it's like a backhanded compliment and say, oh, you should have been Captain Marvel instead of this person, or you should have been.
I hate it so much
because I feel like they're going out of their way to like this.
Because you're insulting somebody else.
Right,
it's like I feel like people have this constant need to uplift one woman by downing somebody else, and it's like, multiple people can be great, and you can live you can give a compliment, like you can stop it at "you look great," and then you can stop right there. It's not hard to not keep going past that. Exactly. It's always like, because it turns it into a competition, which isn't cool, because I feel like it puts this negative energy on what you're doing, instead of being like, hey, we're all doing this, we're all having fun, like, let's just be happy, chill. It's a hobby for most of us. It's not that big of a deal. Like, stop trying to make us compete with each other.
Yeah, and not that I've done that, but one thing I've learned more as a guy is that basically women in general, let alone women in cosplay, are like, don't put me in competition that I didn't ask for. Don't like put me up against this other woman. Like, why does there need to be a competition? Like, if you post a picture of two women, like, someone will always be like, oh, the one on the left is hotter. I'm like, like even if you don't put,
which one looks better, somebody will still say
that, it'll still happen. And I'm like, why is that necessary? Like don't do that. Yeah. So okay, so what I was thinking was right. I'm like, I'm pretty sure these ladies ain't taking that as a compliment. Like, no. And it's a dig at that actress, and they're like, oh, that actress didn't do it right, and all this other kind of mess.
Oh, like, that irritates me too, especially when it comes to like comparing you to professional actresses and stuff. Because like, I'm not a professional. I didn't go to acting school. I don't know how to do any of that. So it's like, you just assuming I would be better because you think I look better. Yeah. That doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of skill and work and talent involved in acting, and also, I mean, me doing my own makeup and wardrobe, like that's a different job. Like costuming and wardrobe, that's a whole different set of things. Yeah, like the actor themselves isn't in charge of what they look like when you see them. When you see the final product, they didn't make the costume. Like, they just sit in a chair and people are doing that for them. So it's like, that's I don't know. I feel like it's insulting them.
Exactly.
And it's assuming I have skills that I clearly don't have. I don't know. It's really frustrating. Yeah, and I feel like the blame is placed in the wrong place. Like, even though I finally gave up hating Halle Berry for Storm, because I was like, she did what she could with what was given to her. Someone wrote that part, and someone selected her for that. It wasn't her fault. She got selected. Yeah, she got cast. Like, somebody had to pick her. Right. So the bad choice was somebody else. Like, don't blame Halle for that. Don't blame this other person. Don't blame the other person, whoever's playing that character. Like, no, somebody picked that person. Somebody wrote that. Somebody designed that costume. That actor has nothing to do. Yeah, and that's frustrating for me too, because like that happened a lot with like the whole Starfire and situation. Yeah. Because people kept like saying it was her, and I'm like, she did not make the choice of what wig she was wearing on set. Like, she has no power over that. Yeah. She's gorgeous, and she's doing the best she can with the role, because if you actually watch the series, she's amazing. Yeah. But like, so she's doing the best that she can. So if y'all are mad about her outfit or something, then be mad at the costume department. Right. Be mad at makeup. Why you mad? Like. Yeah. And I'm not even a DC fan, and I know that outfit that she had on was accurate to at least one comic. So like, it wasn't inaccurate. Yeah. So I don't know. People will always find a way to complain. People also just seem to think that they're better than the professionals who actually, it's like, oh, we picked this for a reason. But no one thinks that. Like, they're just like, oh, well, I'm a fan, and therefore it should be like this. Not really thinking about, stuff behind that. I know that from working in games and having people, because people comment on stuff in your games, like, why you didn't do this, or why you just like, because our rig doesn't fit this, and we have to do extra animations. And
you do better, sir.
Like, you can't, you don't understand what goes into that, but okay. Right. So, yeah, I've had to learn to just stop reading the comments. Like, I've gotten on Reddit a few times. I'm like, just be happy with your 15 minutes of fame. I'm trying to get better at it. It's hard, because Like the comment section is like the worst part of the internet. It really is.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of e-thugs out there. Yeah, I'm like, you lucky that you are behind the keyboard.
You would never say this to me in person.
Right. Exactly.